student conference before we talk about what your role might be, okay? And has anybody been to the student conference? No, what do you have? Okay.
I volunteered. I was told.
Right, that's right, yeah, you were doing the timing. Thank you very much for doing that, I appreciate it. See, you're actually on my list, the honor students, to volunteer at the student conference. Yeah, I think there's enough for everybody. All right. So these are, I always do PowerPoints. The conference has two basic goals. One, to showcase IUS students, their products, whether it's research or creativity, and also to get the community to know about IUS and what's happening here. Because I would imagine that if you ask, stop people on the streets in New Albany, which we could do, and surveyed them, most of them wouldn't have any idea that we've got a lot of research and creative activity occurring here. And once students are on campus, they start realizing that there's a lot going on. You can't, you trip over the artwork and the knob view here. So it's, it happens all over the place. So that's what we're trying to do, is get the community involved in lots of different ways. The conference itself is 2 days. We have a Thursday afternoon, evening part of it that goes from, I think, 5:30 to 7:30. It's the graduate student presentations, and it's right after most of them get off work. It's mostly education majors, some masters of interdisciplinary studies. We're working on getting business graduate students involved in this. So for most of these people, they're working full-time jobs, day jobs, and then they're coming here in the evening to present. It's a relatively short section of the conference, ends around 7 o'clock when we give out the awards. And actually one of the things I discovered was awards do a good job of getting other programs that weren't actively involved. For example, last year we started awards. We always had a creativity award, and Ann Ellen, I don't know if somebody may have taken a class from her, developed an award for either art historian, best presentation by art historian, or fine arts presentation. Well, we had half a dozen artists present their stuff. We've always had a creativity award, and guess what? They won the creativity awards hand down. It was always given to some scientists otherwise, or some, a literature person, but this time it went to a lot of artwork, which we had, which was great. So we're always trying to make modifications to get more involvement. The Friday morning, which is the undergraduate presentations, runs from 8:30 in the morning to 1 o'clock. It's bigger. We have a lot more presentations going on there. Altogether, we had 298 presenters, 192 presentations. I think 30 of them were in the graduate. The rest were all, during Friday morning. One thing I try really hard to do is keep it in that time frame of 8:30 to 1 o'clock, because we've got faculty who are busy, we've got students who are busy. They can give us a morning. I figure everybody can give us a morning. But if I ask more than that, we're going to have people coming and going, and mainly going. So I try to keep it in that time frame. Right now we're running out of room in our venue, which is the university center. We were using almost every nook and cranny we could find. We try to keep it together. I'm hoping we can do that again. We have to be more creative. Trying to talk food service into letting me have the entire, like food court area where people sit, because, it's Friday morning. The only people there are us, and there's, 400 of us. And if anybody's there, they can always join. It's always fun. We had 54 faculty mentors, and then 49 judges. Every student's art or research work is judged by 2 judges, and we give out approximately, I think we gave out 25 awards last year. Okay, so we give out quite a few awards. Now, one of the things I did on this is give you a list of the tasks that are completed by the Office of Research and Creativity. Some of which have already been done, okay? A lot of which I in the office will do over the next several months until D-Day hits. Actually, it's the next, let's see, it goes up to slide 9, I guess. Okay. Oh, jump in and ask questions if you have questions, okay? One of the things that we do after every conference, after the 1 o'clock, finally get to sit down, have our own lunch, and then decide what's wrong with the conference. What's right, what's wrong, what do we keep, what we don't keep. And it can be something as mundane as 2 years ago, we ran out of food. Particularly we ran out of, we have a lunch of lasagna, meat and vegetarian lasagna. We ran out of meat lasagna particularly, so we had to make sure that we had enough food. We may have 300 presenters during the morning, and we have, 50-some judges and 50-some mentors, but predicting how many people are going to show up for lunch is always sort of difficult. So we usually, this time I sat down and sort of tried to figure out a rubric. It's like 2/3 of the presenters and plus 50 other people. We'll see if that works for this next year. We'll have to modify that. So we had to do, we had to increase the food, which meant going and scrounging for some food budget from different sources. And also change proportions. Okay, that sounds mundane. In previous years, what we've done is we realized after the event that everybody who was in the Hoosier room doing a poster presentation was suffocating because we had 100 posters in half of the room, okay? And so what we did was we took over the hallway, which makes the hallway almost impossible to get through, but all the table posters are going up and down the University Center hallway. We have the regular posters in Hoosier room. Everybody can breathe easier. As I said, I think we need to take over the entire food service area, and that way we can spread out and don't clog. Someday we're going to have the fire marshal come through on that Friday morning and just sort of freak out because there's tables on both sides, and it's just, bad news. We've done that. We've made some modifications for next year. We pretty much like the schedule we have. There's not a whole lot of dead time occurring. There is a little bit, which I'm going to see if you want to work on. And otherwise than that, we've got the swag bag set up. Everybody who comes gets a bag with a portfolio. We've got, let's see, I've already got speakers for Friday after the lunch awards ceremony. We always have our outstanding researchers or creative activity faculty members present. Try to get them to do like a 10-minute how I got where I am type of thing. You give a faculty member 10 minutes, they always take 20. So it's getting hard. It's just like, okay, get them organized. So we're getting that scheduled. We got the conference room all scheduled, and then you see that the next pages 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are things we're going to be doing this year. Okay, I won't go through all the little mundane things that we do. But there's a lot of things involved in getting everything together, and including getting a list of activities for you guys to do. That is on the list. I'm going to have to move that over to completed tasks. Yay! That's always nice. So we've got a lot of interesting things to do. Most of them follow like clockwork. My list also includes, when they have to happen, and there's more details about what occurs during that time. One of the things that I'm going to be doing is talking to the design center here on campus. I don't know if you know about the Student Design Center. It's the students in, I forget what program they are, what part of fine arts it is. Anyway, they have been designing the, excuse the Post-it notes, this looks much better, our poster, okay? And it also goes on top of the program. It's not only a, register for the conference, but also an invitation to the conference. Also, so one of the changes we made was we still put these posters around campus. They're big posters. But we also have started a faculty office campaign. We have faculty members put them on their office doors with the idea that maybe students read office doors more than they read hallways. And actually that was a suggestion from a student, that actually sometimes students are embarrassed to stop in the middle of the hallway to read a wall, but when they're hanging out waiting for a faculty member, they can stop and read the door. So we've tried that. I think that probably works. All right. Let's see. Anything else? I think you basically have the schedule, whatever it is. One of the things that I have been trying to do, and as you can see, there's a lot of things to do, and I've always fallen down on being able to do it because of all the other things that need to be done, is get the word out to Ivy Tech, Purdue Tech, JCTC, and invite their students to come and participate. And so, obviously, when I was thinking about what are some of the things that you guys could do, I was thinking about all the things that I've never been able to get to. And these are long-term types of projects, not just one single-shot things like, proofreading the abstracts or whatever. So that's what I came up with. If you look at the last page of the PowerPoint, there's a possible to-do list for you. Okay, there's 4 possibilities. I'm not assuming that all 4 will be completed, but this gives you some options of what you may or may not be interested in doing. Okay, and I can talk a little bit more about those things, but does anybody need any further information about the conference? Basically, we end up with 400 people. I always think of it as planning a party for 400 friends. That's the best way to think about it, because it is fun to see. And it is typically the first exposure students have had to conferences. And so one of the things that we still do is most professional conferences are now using electronic programs, which, by the way, I detest. That's not the only reason we have a paper conference program. But this is easier for people to actually find themselves and figure out where they're supposed to be. And it's something you can take home and show your parents going, look what I did. It's the 4 years were not well spent. But it is a good thing. We also have the option for students to archive their work with the IU archive system, which is always nice. Then you have an electronic version that you can pull up, put on your resume, and possible bosses can pull that up too. So, which is always nice. Oh, and I should say that this is incredibly beneficial. Presenting, if you ever get a chance, present. Whether it's at this conference or another conference, we send students off to different conferences. Actually, we have a conference coming up this semester. The IU undergraduate conference is in Bloomington. If anybody's got something they want to present now or in the future. So we have something in the fall. So we have this one in the spring. Faculty members also take students to professional conferences. Psychologists are always taking their students off to the Midwest Psychological Association conference in Chicago. There are funds to support student travel. We don't pay for everything, but we can get you at least across the Indiana border. And we hope you come back too, which is important.
And we also have an honors-specific conference, the Mid-East Honors
That's right.
Association Conference.
Yes, which we also have provided some funding for. Yeah.
But it's in Indiana this year, so you don't actually
good.
get to cross the border. But
That's excellent.
it's at IU
May mean
East.
I don't have to, my office doesn't have to outlay too much money or any money.
We're fingers crossed.
That sounds great. As long as people present, that's good. Because people do get, it does help get into graduate school, into professional school. It does help get jobs. I mean, there are one of the sociology students went off to the annual sociology conference, and when she started applying for jobs, she had that on her Vita, and people were really impressed that they looked at that and assumed that she went above and beyond in her schoolwork, which meant that she would go above and beyond in her work. She got hired easily. So it's something, to think about. It's very important. Okay, so the 4 things that you might want to think about doing, okay? I tried, as I said, I've been trying to invite students at Ivy Tech, Purdue Tech, JCTC. Does everybody know JCTC? Jefferson Community College, Tech College, to attend and possibly present at the conference. But it's been one of those things where I've been more last minute than anything else, and since I don't have developed good contacts, the word isn't getting out there. What it would take is talking to people, to faculty members at these different places, and I can actually get you started with Purdue Tech. Andrew Takami's the director over there. He's one of our alumni.
Mm-hmm.
We have faculty that teach both at IUS and Ivy Tech, and also JCTC. So we can, matter of contacting people, contacting our admissions office, because they typically have an advisor that goes over there, not consistently, and so that advisor can carry information back and forth, and maybe has contacts that we can get. It'd be good to have Ivy Tech, JCTC. We get about the same number of students that transfer from those 2 schools to here. Ivy Tech, if you think about the bigger picture, the Indiana legislature, the Indiana, what is it called? ITCHE. Indiana Consortium for Higher Education, which is, again, a state board. Both want an easy, seamless move from Ivy Tech to places like IUS. Okay, they will, and so if we can get students to start thinking about, okay, come look at what IUS has to offer. I just finished my 2 years up at Ivy Tech. I do my 2 years at IUS, so getting more exposure to IUS is a good thing. And Purdue Tech, actually, it'd be good to have some of the engineering students present some of their work. We have the informatics people, they're both robots, and I know Purdue Tech has robots too. I always think we could have a little section of robot wars or something. I don't know. No one's taken me up on that. I've suggested to a couple people. I think they don't want their robots destroyed or something. Now we do have a limited, as I said, limited venue. Obviously, we can't expand too much, but if we've got some students that have a good project at Ivy Tech or Purdue Tech or JCTC, and they'd like to present it here, that would be great. I would like to even expand to U of L, Bellarmine. We don't have a regional undergraduate student conference, and that would be really nice to have in this metro area. And so it's possible maybe someday we can actually start that, but I think we probably have to take over the entire campus. We might want to just start small by maybe just trying to get students from Ivy Tech and Purdue Tech, etc., to come over. And again, I think admissions office would be a good place to start with getting information from them about how to proceed, what might be a way to work with them. Now, admissions office would be particularly important with the next step, inviting high school students to attend. We would definitely have to coordinate with the admissions office. There's a couple of difficulties with this. One is a Friday. High school students may or may not have the flexibility to leave their school and come and attend a conference on a Friday. 2, because of I've been trying to figure out what to call it, Penn State disaster, and I'm not sure if you all are familiar with what happened at Penn State not so long ago. Let me step back. I'm a psychologist, along with being the dean for research. My research has always been with children. Whenever I do my research, or my students are doing research with me, because we're doing it with children, and we're going to be exposed, we're going to be, talking with children, we always have to have our names run through the sexual offender database as a standard given thing for researchers. We expect that to happen. Everybody in education also, because they go out to the schools, has to have their names run through the sexual offender database. Penn State had a disaster happen because of a coach and young males. And because of that, every university is, I don't want to say hyper-vigilant, they're probably starting to do what they should have done in the long run. Whenever minors are involved in anything, every adult has to be vetted through sexual offender list. Now, I'm not totally sure what that means if we just open up, with an invitation to high school saying, wouldn't your students like to come, rather than an organized event. I'm not sure what would happen. So that'd be something to consult with admissions to see what type of thing we could actually do, okay? Whether we could just make an open invitation to high schools, talk to their counselors there, provide them with information about the student conference, and maybe they would have students that would be interested in coming to IUS just to check it out. We have open houses where students and their parents come to, again, it's just open invitation, come see the university. And obviously not everybody has to be vetted then. And so I would assume with the same type of thing, this is open to the public, please come and, if you're interested in IUS as a potential student. Just to tell you how not extreme, but how aware and vigilant universities are. I'm also a Master Gardener, which is a Purdue organization. And because we sometimes go into places where there are minors, we have actually a children's garden that we train kids on how to grow plants during the summer. Every Master Gardener has to have their name run through the sexual offenders list. So Purdue is making sure that even programs that seem so far removed from Purdue University are vetted and so secure, supposedly. All right, so I just wanted you to be aware of all the possible things that may have, questions and things that might come up there, or not. Okay. Let's see, the third one is making the local community more aware of the conference. And with this particular project, that would be coordinating with the IUS Communications Office. One of the good things about running any type of thing like this conference is you're never doing it alone. There's always offices that have resources, that have expertise that you always need to tap into. That's something to always remember. We don't have to, do things on our own, but coordinating it with the IUS Communications Office would be nice. I know last year we had hoped that we would get some, not necessarily advertisement, but local community interest, something in the local papers about it. We weren't able to do that at all before the events. The year before, we did get a nice article in, again, but it was after the event. It would be nice to have something in the paper where it asked, just said, if you're, invited the local community to come to IUS and see what the students are doing. Because it is open to the public. Right now, the main public we get are fellow students, faculty members, and parents. Some other family members. We'd like more people to come and see what's going on here. So coordinating with the IUS Communications Office would be the way to start with that. And the fourth thing here is we do have some dead time in the conference. it's primarily for the people who are presenting posters. The poster session ends at 10:45. The lunch doesn't start till 11:45. So we have a chunk of time when literally they're just standing around. And usually we get, the lunchroom set up so that they can get drinks. We can get it, opened up a little bit earlier, but there's really nothing for them to do. So it'd be nice if we could figure out something for them to do. They're in the food service area, the seating area. And I was thinking, if we could have either, alumni come in, students, I know students are interested in people who get out of here and find jobs, graduate school, just to find out what people are doing. It could be just a simple meet and greet type of thing where, alumni introduce themselves and, students may talk, chat with them before. Nothing, it doesn't have to be long, and it does, don't have a long time. We have is between 10:50 and 11:40. And really, the only space we have available is the food service area. We may just take it over anyway. Whether they like it or not. But we could just, have just an informal chat. We could provide water and iced tea, for people to have, something to drink while they're talking with the alumni, or coffee if people want. So those are the 4 things that I came up with. Yes?
I was gonna ask, I know people that go to JCPC
Yeah.
from a high school, and if I invite them, I don't know if they know how to write a research paper, because
They don't have to. They can just come and see what goes on here and then stay for lunch.
they
Yeah.
don't actually have to present.
No, they don't have to actually present. Actually, it'd be just good for the JCTC, the Ivy Tech students, Purdue Tech students, just to come to the conference, just to see what's happening here on campus, and then they can stay for lunch, as I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know people that go to JCTC and people that, so.
Yeah, because they can just see, and we could start small. We could invite your friends from if they do have projects like at U of L, they've got a project or whatever that they might have been doing. Usually people don't get into the projects that they present until they're in upper level classes, 300, 400 levels, capstones, senior capstones, things like that. So it'd be hard to expect JCTC or Ivy Tech students to have, a product. But U of L students should have them, Purdue Tech students should probably have them.
And honor students will have them.
Yeah, honor students should have them, yeah, exactly. So,
I was wondering, do you guys utilize social media? Because not a lot of people look at the newspaper to see information on this, but
yeah,
if you share it on Facebook, one person might share it, then another person might share it.
yeah, actually, that would be a good way of getting the information out.
People are on social media all the time.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's where they get their news from, so.
Right, no, exactly, and that would be, when you're talking about inviting the students, Ivy Tech, whatever, from the schools, high schools, that would probably be the best way to do it, yeah. That's open to whatever you wanna do.
Pardon me. Do you have, okay, I'll poll you all. What is more effective, Twitter or Facebook? Facebook, okay.
Yeah.
Because people can share it, and then another person share it, then another person share it, they comment, likes. People rarely use Twitter, honestly.
Okay.
These
I
are
don't
like
tweet, so I don't know.
Celebrities
Yeah.
or whatever, I don't know.
Okay.
Facebook is like about all I use, so.
Okay. Is there a page for the student conference?
Nope, we don't have a page.
Is that's something that we could work on?
That's something you definitely could work on, yep,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
My logistical questions.
Yeah.
I have contacts at Ivy Tech too, because I'm one of the faculty that teaches
Right.
over there as well. The alumni panel, we can start with honors alumni. I can give you each an alumni to alumni is plural. Don't tell Dr. Salas to make that mistake. She's passionate about the alumni. I have an HP graduate, there we go, that each of you can contact. We can start there, and then we might branch out to the schools and ask
Right.
the individual schools if they have graduates. Do a brief introduction, say these are our graduates, come chat with them as you would like.
Yeah.
Do we have a particular contact, both within the communications office and within the admissions office, that we should be reaching
I would
out
start,
to?
admissions office, you can start with Chris Cruz.
Okay.
And communication office, we have a new publicity person, and I've forgotten what her name is.
Right, 'cause,
You see her
yeah.
all over the place taking pictures.
Yeah.
We are her beat. It's just an old newspaper terminology. That's, that would be the person to communicate with.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can find her.
yeah, if I find her name, I'll let you know. Actually,